consequence since your priorities have changed. Next slide, please. So under this circumstance, what should you do? You need a change of strategy. You need a change of strategy. So this change of strategy, you must re-understand your context. You must redefine your goals and objectives and realign them to your new context. You must re-choose and redefine your market domain. You need something very different. You need a different approach, a different system, a different product, and you need to communicate new things to your customers about your product. And of course, you need to redefine how you operate. You need to re-engineer your business, and you need to engineer your life. So let's see some details about this. So re-understanding your context is about a new reading of your industry. These are ordinary things that we are all familiar with, whether our products still resonate with your customer perception of value in use. You are offering a set of values to the customer. But are these values, given the price that the person is paying for that value, does it still resonate with the customer? Are you still able to compete on cost or on differentiation? What was your major strength? Do you have the best and cheapest product, or you have the best one-in-town product? How do you differentiate? Now, this perception of customer, does the customer perceive your product as indispensable, or you are just another commodity? Well, think about it. What government policies are for you or against you? And what are the implications of this? We'll look at some details. What are your competitors doing? And so what? What is the implication of that to you? How are your partners, your suppliers, your creditors, your support service providers? How do they change? And so what? In the remote environment, are you benefiting from the ICT environment and the ICT opportunities? How does this pandemic affect your business? Next slide, please. So we start with redefining your objectives. Redefining your objectives. Galbraith had cause to mention many years ago, for any organization as for any organism, the goal or objective that has a natural assumption of preeminence is the organization's own survival. So what should a business do to survive under this COVID circumstance? That is what you should be doing, the business people. So next slide. So redefining the concept of asset and liabilities. That's one thing that you need to do. Most of us would have read that nice old book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So if you have not revisited, if you have revisited again, that tells you what liabilities are and what assets are. Assets are things that generate income. Simple, very straightforward, especially for a small, medium-sized enterprise. So think about it. Your vehicle, your telephone and generator are all liabilities. So you need to use them less. Your house, whether you are paying a rent or living free, is a liability. Can you think of using some space to generate income? Some relationships and relatives are shackles. Therefore, a liability. So cut them off or minimize them. They're things we keep because of their value in possession. Probably because you need to be told you are a labai, or you need to be called by your traditional title, or you need to be recognized. So this sort of pressure, you keep things that are really have no value, but a liability because you incur cost in maintaining them. Cut those things out. There are some social norms, there are some taboos, there are some dogmas which we respect, but they're actually a liability because we spend money on those taboos. Or those taboos prevent imbibed due to peer pressure to belong. Avoid them. Next slide, please. So liabilities are things that generate expenses. Anything that generates expense is a liability. Simple enough, especially for a small business. So what are these? Share resources and cost with others. Just find opportunities to share office accommodation, service cost, telephone cost, these sort of issues, so that you keep your cost down. Avoid cost at all cost. Seek synergy in the use of your resources through a portfolio of resources. Portfolio of resources. That is explained by the next one. Stretch and leverage your resources by using a platform for activities. Use one resources for multiple activities. Outsource some of your activities. There are some non-core items such as deliveries that you can just throw out to others, reliable others. Rice processors, for example, outsource cleaning and drying activities because those are not core, they are non-core activities. Think about it in your business. What are these non-core activities? Focus on essential needs, not on wants. So use, if you have 2 telephone lines, try to use one instead of all. Use your generator less when you can generate income. When it generates income. If it is not generating income, just do like the convener does. Use your handkerchief. So next slide. Consider using part-time staff whenever. Next, yes. Next slide. Good. So the next thing is to align your business with the context. We've already seen what the context are. Those are the issues. So let's go to the next slide that explains each of these. Next slide, please. Thank you. So aligning business to context means the previous one, please. The previous slide.
Okay, sir.
Sorry, someone called me and interrupted.
So sorry about that, sir.
Yeah. We're still waiting for the previous slide.
Is this the correct one, sir?
No, what I have is product quality. The one I want is functions and benefit.
Okay.
Function and benefit.
Function and benefits.
Yes.
Still on the.
Yes, which is the slide before
yes.
what?
Yeah, it is, sir. Okay. Product function and benefits.
Yes. Why is it not showing on my own? Because of the interruption, I guess.
Yes, probably, sir. It's a network.
Okay.
But it's up now.
Okay, so I still have product quality. So let me deal with this, but I don't know. Please read that for us.
Okay,
the product function and benefit. Yes.
Product functions and benefits. At times of economic downturn, customers tends to go back to basics. What problem or what problem a product service, how well it does that compared to the price paid.
Yeah.
Is that the right one, sir?
So what are the issues below that? Yes, that's right. So what are the issues below that?
Okay. What improvements should you make in the functions and benefits of your product services?
Good.
Identify and communicate or add and communicate new uses, application for greater customer value. Cook is test, refreshments, meal compliments, celebrating an event, etc.
So you can see those are the new functions Coke has added in order to sustain itself and to be in business and to survive. So
consider your lecture this month through your BUK.
Sorry, please. If your mic is on, kindly mute it. Kindly mute your mic, please. Sorry, Prof. Sorry for the interruption.
No problem.
Yes, sir.
I'm hearing some accusations.
Yes, sir. You can go ahead, sir.
Okay. So there are other examples there. Please read them.
Okay, the other example, identify
Yes.
and communicate new and more interesting way for using the product. Add new functions to the products, services, telephone handset makers. Added the function of photography and entertainment. The Earth function is now added to a variety of products. So what new functions and benefits could you add to your product services to improve chance of survival?
Exactly. So the slide on my screen is the next one, which is the product quality.
Okay.
The view there is quality is less emphasized, less demanded by customers during crisis, because it usually comes with high prices, which customers try to avoid. For many years, people have avoided pig milk. They've gone for substitutes that are cheaper. However, it could still be useful to ask these basic questions. What else could be done to make product service more reliable, consistently, to provide the function consistently over time without necessarily charging higher price? What else could be done to make the product or service to be perceived as dependable compared to similar products offer? What should be added or reduced to improve customer perception of high quality and greater value? Straightforward questions. And ask yourself, because these are things that you are meant to do as business owners. These are questions you are meant to answer as business owners, and engage with them and develop a solution. So answer the question for your businesses. Next slide.
Can you
So
say
what you might do is drop this and reopen it.
Okay, sir.
Because it's not moving on my computer.
On your screen, okay, sir.
Yes.
I'm dropping it already.
Okay.
I'll bring it back now, sir.
Okay.
I'm bringing it back now.
Okay.
Is it okay now, sir?
It's coming, still saying, no, it's not yet there. Moderator, no, it's not there yet. I don't know why. Should I try my own?
Okay, now. Is it serious, sir?
No.
Okay, I'm stopping it again. I'm bringing it up.
Okay.
I'm bringing it up again, sir.
Okay. I wish there was a way I could just.
Is up now. Is it okay now, sir?
No. Where do I need to touch?
So maybe you can just look at it a bit, 1 minute, so I'll be able to sort it out.
Okay. But if I talk to my own, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay, so let me go straight to my slides. I presume you have copies?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please look at your copies. We have just looked at quality.
Yes, sir.
We are now looking at the product features.
Yes, sir.
So if we're looking at product features.
Yes, sir. We're on product features.
Again, good. Product features are not terribly important under bad circumstances. But even so, it may be possible to add some features that make the customer to prefer, because that's the whole point. Get the customer to prefer your product service offer. So what should happen? Could the use of your product service be made easier and more user-friendly for example. When you think of Indomie, this is precisely what they have done. No cooking ability is assumed. Customers access your product or service online. This is what everyone does. Banks are doing that. Airliners are doing that. So can you do that? Because when you do that, like airline passengers, you're saving the passengers some money, which was used to pay who was getting paid? Travel agents. So the next one is aesthetics. Think about it. It doesn't matter what products, because you're not interested in positioning yourself. You're not interested in expressing yourself under circumstances. However, does your packaging convey the essence and efficacy of your product? Because that's the first impression of your product, of your service. So if the package does not convey efficacy, it does not convey the essence of the product, there is doubt. So is your business logo effective in communicating the function and benefit of your product? Because if you have a funny logo that is unrelated to the function of the product, then what does the color of your pack fit your customer general mood and circumstances? In other words, does your product looks and feels reflect your customer's general mood and circumstances? Because that's why the customer pays. So if you have the wrong color, if you have the wrong logo, if you have the wrong packaging, if these things are unrelated to the function of the product, then the customer is not interested. So in what ways could you improve the visibility of your product? Next is the cost. Most customers under these sort of circumstances seek products or services that resonate with their situation and empathize with them. So it is possible to add do-it-yourself. So is it possible to add do-it-yourself function, possibility in your business? Is it possible for customers to repair or otherwise modify your product without incurring additional cost? Think about it. So now we know what to do to survive, and we have realigned. So how do we thrive? Which is the next slide. To thrive, not just to survive. We need to ask basic questions about whether the customer you are serving the right customers. So are you serving the right customers? Do you understand the problems that you are solving for the customer? Are these customers large enough to sustain your business? Is the demand large enough? So what do you have? Do you have the resources and the competences to serve this market, this customer? How do you structure your organization? So think about it. Understanding the circumstances of the customer, that's the starting point. To define the customer is just not about segmenting the market. That's wrong. It is about understanding the customer circumstances, because it is those circumstances that make the customer to buy your product. So understand the conditions in which a product is used, explains why a customer buys a product. So it is necessary, therefore, to probe and determine these circumstances. It is absolutely necessary. These circumstances may just be determined by and influenced by social pressure, routine events of the customer. It could be seasonal, could be festivals, could just be increased demand from his own customers. So they're just situations, they're circumstances. So under the customer circumstances, one must also determine what the customer considers to be of value. So this is what Indomie uses. That there's ease of use. That's what Indomie use. A customer is relieved from some pain. The customer is filling a gap. I mean, when you are traveling, for example, and you need to pick up some snacks, those guys are addressing that circumstance. Mm. And perhaps the speed of response is also some circumstance. Customer buys solutions, not products. Keep that in mind. Mm. Customer circumstances determine what problems are there to solve. That's it. So focus on those issues. So you need to do things differently now in order to thrive. We're not talking about survival. We're talking about thriving. So promote different value propositions. Focus on the customer dimension of function and benefit. Never mind about quality, even though we said there are some issues. Stay with function and benefit. Because every time there is palaver, there is problem, the customer goes back to the basics. So choose messages and mediums of communication to connect well with the customer. That is to connect this function and benefit to the needs of the customer. So promote functions that relate to or fit with customer circumstances, just as we buy, just as we have mentioned. Promote new uses and application of the product that fits well into the customer circumstances. Promote product benefits such as low cost, ease of use, DIY, and other features that relate to customer circumstances. And you could do all this through packaging. You could do it through direct sales stock. You could use your satisfied customers. Of course, you could use other simpler, non-cost issues like we all do on Facebook. So, what do we do to prosper? Authenticate your fantasy frame with a clear vision and intent. You are there to win, nothing less, nothing more. No excuses, no bullshit. Have a missionary outlook in your business. Be on a mission from Allah, because you are solving a problem. That's enough to motivate you. You are solving a problem for humanity. You're not there to make money. The money is the result of the solution, the excellence and quality of your solution. And that's the mission you want to focus on. Invest whatever surplus income you have in production, not administration. Be innovative, proactive, and take measured risks, not unnecessary risks. Forget what professors tell you about taking risks. That's just fancy talk. The reality is take measured risk. Always plan. And think of a plan not in the textbook way, but in the applied business owner, entrepreneur manner. A plan is an intended action that seeks to influence key factors for success. Because whatever you plan, if you can't influence key factors for success, these key factors for success are buried in your industry environment, they're buried in your operation environment, and operating environment, they're buried also in the remote environment. So find what you can influence and keep them under influence. Grow naturally. Try to avoid over trading. And of course, understand and manage phases of growth, because the more you sell, the more you grow. So learn of necessity when, where, and what, or who to give to, who to control, or what to control. Delegate authority to others, develop coordinated mechanisms, and learn how to collaborate. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, sir. Wow. Please, let's give a round of applause for Prof. Thank you so much for these wonderful presentations. I know everybody, we have learned one thing or the other there. For me, defining asset and liability is very key. Avoiding cost at all costs is marvelous. then align business with context. Because currently what we have, our context has changed, just like he has said. So we need to align our ideas, our businesses to the context. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate it. Without wasting time, sir, we'll come back to question and answer. But before that, we would like to have our panelists to quickly have their 2-3 minutes. Then we'll come back to question and answer. Is that okay, sir?
Yes, fantastic. I'm here.
Thank you so much, sir. All right. We're going to the panelists straight away without wasting more time. The first person that is coming on board is Okoyemi Akinfaraderi.
Akinfaraderi, yes.
Yes, it's standing by. Yes. So your time starts now, please. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, moderator. Thank you very much, Prof. It's been a thought-provoking section. A lot of points have been raised. A lot of reminders have been done. A lot of reorganizing has been demanded. As an entrepreneur, I would come in a view that as a business person, we have to begin pivoting to adjust to the new reality as our economy rebounds. I have some few questions to ask our entrepreneurs who are on this section. One is, what advantage does your business have this period? What needs do your customers also request for this period? What opportunities can you see this period? And lastly, what action will you take at this period? Prof has said a lot, and which I believe if you integrate into your business going forward is going to actually help you. However, there are 4 key things that we also need to think about this period again, which is people. You need to redesign your people, you need to empower them, you need to work with the new normal. We need to talk about cash flow also, and when you're talking about cash flow, is expanding your cash flow. As it is, business is the next new thing. Our strategy, just like Prof has said again, we have to reorganize our strategy. If you've been having a business and you've just been probably selling and doing the likes all this while, not thinking about a time like this is the right time to reorganize your business. You have to reorganize your strategy. And lastly is execution of those strategies. You need to effect them. You might have had a lot of strategies, but if you don't effect them from what Prof has said, then you can't play along in this period. So I would, because of my time, I will just briefly say this, that during this period with our defensive and offensive strategies in place, you need to, one, spread your demand. You also have to offer discounts in some areas where necessary, where it's possible with your business. And you have to also ask for testimonials. Then lastly, most importantly, at this period, you need to be flexible. You need to be agile, because this is the new normal and some things will change forever. Thank you very much. I think Prof has said majority of the points already. This is
all right.
point.
Thank you, Okoyemi. Thank you for that insightful one. Very key here is effecting action on whatever we are doing right now.
Exactly.
Whatever the plan is, we need to put action to the plan so that everything will go on as expected. Okay, straight on, we go to the next one. The next one we have is Elizabeth. She is standing by. Elizabeth, can you hear me? Can you hear me, please? Elizabeth? It seems Elizabeth is having issue with her connection.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yes,
all right.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Please go ahead.
Right. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
Thank you, Prof, for the my major point is, can you hear me?
Yes, but you're going on and off.
Okay.
We can hear you, but you're going on and off. Can you adjust your mic? Okay, while you are doing that, can we go to the next person? Are you okay now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Fantastic. Go ahead.
Okay. So I said the major point I stated is lessons we learn as Nigerians or as Africans.
Lizzie, we cannot hear you. Stop touching the microphone. Just adjust it once and it's okay. Okay?
Or you can speak to your handset directly. Remove the connection, then speak to it directly.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Yes, I think that's what.
Okay, just go ahead now. We can hear you. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll think that.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. I think I'll just make do without the
Better.
Fine, fantastic.
the lesson so far, it's one, online businesses and trading is the new norm. Not the usual, you go to shop or you go to your workplace and all that. This is now like the new norm now. So anyone that wants to do business and you want to be successful with it, you have to know how to be to have an online presence. Then it's you have to know that one stream of income is no more effective. You have to do more than one stream. You have to have more than one stream, especially during this time. You notice most people in private sector, they were badly hit because of they couldn't go to work and their MDs also couldn't pay them because you are not working, so you can't get paid. Then our priorities as a to shift. We have to prioritize on more important things like the health sectors, our research and development, improve in our agricultural sectors and all that. Then one thing you have to notice, savings is very important, no matter how little, because you have to save for the unforeseen. No matter how little you save for the future. Then I said you have, as a business person, you have to be competitive and have a good strategy in this time. And I want to talk about some school of thought. It's either if you strategy to use, it's either you decide to go on, you keep your cost low and get more cost, or you have to analyze, then you plan, then you command, like you implement everything you've done. Or that thing is systematic. Maybe you play the local rules. How do people around there operate? How do they act? You with them act that way and see if you can make it in the business. Yeah. Okay. And I said for you to the strategy you employ should address three major issues. Your customers. What do your customers need? Can you give them that value? Can you provide that value to them? Yeah. The changes. Can you make changes to your business to suit your customers, to suit everybody? So at least you benefit at the end. Then the competition. How well do you want to compete in the market? You should have a strategic means to compete perfectly in the market. Okay, then I think lastly, there was something that professor asked one day in class. It was how do you know your decision is right? And we're all given so many answers. But I said most times you don't even know your decision is right unless the outcome turns out right. And with that, I think I'll just close with this. Paraphrasing Ratatata, make all the right moves to make your decision. Make all the right moves to make your decision right. I think that'll be it.
All right, make all the right moves to make your decision right. That's a powerful quote there. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. We appreciate you for that. Quickly, let's go to the next speaker. The next panelist is Tayo Adepuji. I think he's
Adepuji.
Okay, Adepuji, you're standing by. Good. All right.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, first, I would like to thank Prof. Thank you so much for your time. Then all the panelists and everyone here with us. I just want to appreciate everyone first. I would like to just go to the reality. That's where I work. I would like to just talk about that, how this whole pandemic has actually affected businesses and the way we've actually been doing things. Because where I work in a very big organization, a very big place. And at a point, when the whole thing started, we are all like, how do we need to go on with this business? First of all, it's an hospitality business. we had the construction business, we have other businesses too that we actually run apart from the hospitality. So many other businesses. But I myself, I was actually in charge of the hospitality part of the business. And when you look at the national, that's the NCDC, their headquarters is actually facing our building. And there was no way we could actually go continue business, because what they actually told us then was that you cannot continue because of this pandemic. For example, now we're in the hospitality business. Every hospitality business has to be shut down nationwide. Hotels, accommodation, and all that. And one of the things that we actually looked at as an organization was, how do we actually reorganize? How do we actually going to redirect our customers? How actually going to do so many things that these people who can continue to be in business? And one of the things we look at was, we had to, like, personally, I had to just meet some of the executives of some of the people that actually work at NCDC. And we had to, like, deliberate on things, and we had to things we needed to do as an organization. And we did so many things that it was even the NCDC that was actually even recommending customers to us that, oh, you guys could we at the stage we even had to even open, we even do businesses, we even making a lot of funds, making a lot of money and all that. So in this kind of era that we actually find ourselves in, we have to reorganize. We had to reorganize. We had to redirect whatever business we are doing. We have to think out of the box. We have to think in a very strategic way, that even people that does not even want us to continue, they will be like, oh wow, these people have all the things in place and they just have to do it. At a stage, we're even having even more customers than even when there was even pandemic in the country. Because even the LDCC, they were even bringing people from outside Nigeria, from Europe, from Asia, from America, and they were directing them to our own hospitality industry within Abuja. So this will tell you that if we did not reorganize ourselves, if we did not reorganize, because I am actually the admin manager, and we had a lot of meetings within ourselves, with the operation manager, with the admin manager, with the person even in charge ourselves. A lot of meetings. So we have to reorganize ourselves. There's a lot of money is being made in this era. Some people might feel, oh, things are not moving. Look, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but you have like 30 seconds more.
Okay, so what I'm just trying to say is this, that we have to reorganize ourselves as an individual, as an organization, as a business. We have to reorganize ourselves, and we have to actually redirect the way we do things, the way we see things, the way we see business as a whole. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Tayo. Reorganizing ourselves, very key at this time. I think in the light of what Prof has said, that's realigning to the context. All right, straight away we go to the next speaker. Her name is Fatima. Fatima, are you on? Can you hear me, Fatima? Fatima, can you hear me? It's like Fatima is not hearing me. Fatima, are you there? Please, if you are there, unmute your mic so that I can hear you. Hello? Okay, now, Fatima is having issue with her connections. So we'll just go ahead to the Q&A. Right now, please, I want us to engage Prof and any of our panelists with our questions. If you have questions, kindly raise up your hands, let me know. Or you can equally send it to the chat. I'm on the chat now. You can send it to the chat so I will see it, then answer your question from there. Okay. Prof, sir.
Yes.
Yes. At this time, something that is very critical is to all of us is the way government is organizing itself. If the government is not getting it right, businesses will be affected, individuals will be affected, a lot of things will be affected. What do you think should be the position of government now, or the strategy of government at this time?
I think my first instinct really is to find ways to avoid the government completely. The government will always get it wrong, as governments do. Unfortunately, our own under the circumstance appears confused. They are not giving us the right guidance. They have failed to build any confidence in us. We suspect them of policy change. There's so many issues. So if we were to rely on the government, I think we will all be in Sambisa. So I think the best thing is, how do we avoid the government? I still think focusing on the customer circumstances. Customer is the issue. I mean, if we look at the textbook stories about the reality of income, the reality of demand and supply, the reality of this and that, we will do absolutely nothing. But just think about it. What is the budget of Kano State, for example? Just give me any figure, 240 billion.
Yes.
A large percentage of that is coming from the federal allocation. Now, a small calculation, assume there are 10 million people in Kano. Each of these people, whether they have money or they don't have money, whether they are rich or poor, even when they are sick, they will still need to spend 200, 300 naira per day to live. Even when and where they are sick, they will still consume 250 per day, 300 naira. So multiply 300 naira times 10 million times 365 days. What do you get? You will get a budget that is a lot higher, an amount that is a lot higher of the 240 billion Kano State budget.
Yes, sir.
So where is that money coming from? It's not captured in the formal sense and is spent in the market. So how is government policy influencing this spending? How is government policy supporting this spending? And a lot of this spending is not just on essential things. They are on things that we do. So if we understand the circumstances the customer faces, we just key in to those circumstances and we are fine. We ignore the government. But if we wait on the government, then we are waiting forever. The textile companies have been waiting for the government. General Abdul Salami made a promise to give them money when he signed the WTO agreement. What happened? Obasanjo set aside some money. What happened? This administration has been talking about setting up some money. What happened? The textiles have remained dead because they have depended on the government. So depend on yourselves, depend on your skills, and do the analysis, do the arithmetic, get the facts, and forget the government. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Prof. This is mind-blowing. All right, I've been seeing everybody's answers that is up. If I call your name, please kindly unmute. Then when you finish your question, then you can mute yourself back. Okay, Razak, Karim, are you there?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, please come on.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof, for giving us time out of your very tight schedule, because I know your schedule must be very tight. My question, part of my question has been answered, so I won't want to go back to that, but the second one has to do with BUK itself. Yesterday, University of Lagos came up with a plan to conclude the semester through online learning. As a stakeholder in BUK, I want to know the plan BUK is having. That's number one. Then secondly, this pandemic, we've been hearing there's kind of conspiracy attached to it, which we are not ruling out the fact that there is unnecessarily increasing the figure of the COVID base, maybe because they want to collect more allocation from government or whatever. Be it as it may, what do you think we need to do to reverse this, to revert back? Because we were like thinking that for this to happen in my generation, I'd be very bad, because this is the very first time there is no past history. You can say, okay, how did old people attended to it? We are the ones first experiencing it. What can we do to avert this kind of calamity in the nearest future? That's the second question, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
The first question. When we look at the protocols, I'm not sure I am the right person to answer that. So I will diplomatically avoid it, only to say that I am sure we will be together. There are many people like you asking these questions. So I'm sure university authorities are thinking and are doing something about it. The second question about what do we do? Let me be a typical Nigerian by answering the question by asking you, how much confidence do we have in government? If you have to rate your confidence on government, how would you score? How would you rate it on a scale of 7? 7 meaning yes, you highly trust this government 100%. 1 meaning no, you don't trust this government at all. So it is all there. Unfortunately, the government has lost credibility. So if you listen to the government, you are on your own. The best thing, like I've always argued, is to take responsibility. What can you yourself do? Then worry about what you can do and create solutions, create resources, create competencies, and do what you can do. If you worry about the responsibilities of others, then you will never get to do your own. So forget the government. What can you do? And then focus on what you can do. The government can't protect you, so you protect yourself. I mean, it's simple. It has been there, isn't it? In all our houses, we have private generators because government can't give us electricity. In all our houses, we employ security people because government can't secure us. In all our houses, we have private boreholes, or we buy water from private vendors because the government cannot. How many of us go to public hospitals? Let's be honest. The government has failed. I mean, ask yourself at your age whether you attended a public school or a private school. You only attended the public universities. But most likely, the faces I'm looking at, especially the young lady there, probably attended a private school, most likely, because the government has failed. So should we now want to talk about the government and COVID? Okay, if we do, maybe I'm next. You will see my funeral.
No, God forbid. At this time. All right, thank you so much, Prof. Please, House, let me kindly say this, please. Let's ask relevant questions to what we are discussing today, please. Let's limit our questions to what we are discussing today. Anything that has to do with the policies and all of that stuff, please let's take them out. Okay, the next person I have here is Adamu Mohammed. Adamu Mohammed, can you unmute? Adamu Mohammed. Okay.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening, Adamu.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. I joined the platform from information on your Facebook, and it's not disappointing. It's quite interesting. I am a Prof's friend on Facebook. I always count his tortoise on Facebook.
That's good. All right.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good
quite
evening.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, what I want to just say one thing and add one question. Of course, the government is not helping. It's very obvious. Failure is staring us on the face. Everybody knows that. Nobody can argue about that. But there's also palliative by the CBN. About 50 billion naira set out by the CBN. I think people can go into it. We should not say in this part of the country that we cannot participate because we don't trust the government. So SMEs can key into it. Who knows? One or two people may be lucky. So instead of just losing complete hope from government, I think it is very important we participate in some of the palliatives presented by the government. That is one. Two.
Okay, we don't have much time, please, Adamu. Can you just take it
The second one is a question to Prof.
Okay.
Please, can Prof outline some of the opportunities, because we have discussed the threats, and so on. Do we have any opportunity presented to us as a result of this pandemic? Please, Prof. Thank you.
Okay. When you try to access those loans from CBN, make sure you also have money to give, because even federal government positions now are sold. So that said, these opportunities, what I have tried to do is to focus on the individual entrepreneur and what he can do. I have not specifically done the simple analysis of SWOT, because I think and I believe everything revolves on the person, on the entrepreneur. It is all about him. It is his strength and his weaknesses that matters. It is the quality of his resources and the quality of his competencies that matters. Those determines his performance. I've always been an advocate of one, creating his circumstances to win, not relying on other circumstances beyond your control, because then what you have are excuses for failure. Then what you have is a situation where I have done my best, and I've come to realize that anybody who says he has done his best has usually failed. So I avoided the external discussion and focused on the individual. The individual is the resource. The individual is therefore the opportunity. So that's my point.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Akinwumi, Mansur, yes, I can see you. I will come back to you. We'll have some people whose hands are up here. Let me finish with them, then I will come back to you. Is that okay? All right, thank you. The next person is Agbenu Okibe. Can you hear me? Yes, please unmute your mic.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead with your question.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Professor. Nice to hear from you again today, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you. So my question is this. During your lecture, which has been very helpful to our life, you said something that really, got me thinking. And I would like to ask this question, sir. You said that it's not really about making money that's the focus right now, but it's about providing a solution. Now, so my question is this. How do entrepreneurs like us or other entrepreneurs out there, how do they survive if we do not make profit? Because the thing is, how will we be able to cover certain costs, operational costs? How do we build it in, how do we offset all those bills? We have to pay salaries, we have to do so many things. We have to pay bills, electricity, telephone. You did say avoid costs, but some costs are unavoidable, sir. Please, can you help me out? Thank you.
Oh, sure. Let me clarify a point. Profit is necessary, but it's not the reason why you are in business. Profit is a performance measure. A performance measure means that what you are doing is right. What you are doing is correct. And because it is right and it is correct, you get a reward, which is profit. So therefore, profit is an outcome of something. Now, what is that thing that you do which profit is an outcome of? So that's where I'm coming from. That's the purpose of the business. The purpose of the business. So let's look at pure water people, for example, a very basic business, very, very basic, not very complicated. So what is the purpose of a pure water vendor? Why is he in business? He's clearly helping people that are thirsty. So the more people that are thirsty that he helps, the greater the outcome, which is now profitability. So the less people he serves, he helps, isn't it? Then the lower the result, which is profitability. So, do you think God will forgive me because I'm a professor? It has been my goal all my life to be a professor. But do you think God will forgive me because I'm a professor? So why would God forgive me? Means there are other ideals, isn't it? So it is the performance of those ideals. Oh, if I have the best house in town, will God forgive me for that? I married the most beautiful women in town. Will God forgive me for that? So there's this ideal. It is when we serve those ideals that an outcome, negative or positive, that comes out. So my point is, let's focus on the purpose, on why we are doing that. Let's focus on the problem we are solving, and therefore on the quality of solutions we are given. And it is the quality of these solutions that we are given that gives an outcome, that creates profit. So the better this quality, the more resonant it is to the customer need, the more we feed, the more we are able to create it, the more we are able to multiply it, then the greater the outcome, which is profit. I hope that's clear.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you so much, sir. Okay, let me quickly give another lady an opportunity before I come to you, Akinwumi. The next person that will be up is Awa El Yakub. Can you hear me, please? Awa El Yakub, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, if you can't hear me, let's go to Akinwumi. Can you unmute your mic? Yes, Akinwumi, you're on. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, the moderator,
thank you,
the panel, and professor for this brainstorming session. My question is, during this pandemic, which is more realistic, a cost leadership strategy or differentiation strategy?
Wow, do you have $1 million? So this is the whole point of going back to understand your customer, your context, define your customer circumstances. And throughout the presentation, I emphasized that during crisis, customers tend to forget about differentiation, because differentiation is made in quality, differentiation is made in features, differentiation is made in aesthetics. So customers tend to move away from products with that kind of differentiation and focus on the basics. Now, let's understand there are two types of markets, or markets can be classified to three ways. There are those who can afford the product and are happy to keep spending money on differentiations. But there are those who like the product but can't afford it. And those are the ones that small, medium enterprises are likely to be interested in. They are large in size, they are large in volume, they are large in number. So they need a product, but they can't afford it. So anyone who designed a product that is basic, that provides the function and the basic benefit, with the consequence of lower cost, is likely to succeed in the market. Now, these examples are all over the place. If the moderator will not punish me for taking a bit more time, we all remember Econet and MTN. Yes. MTN focused on just the generic market, low-cost provider, and just kept on expanding its network. Econet came in with a particular feature, quality of the voice, and they will remain in 1, 2, 3 locations. fast forward into the future, MTN is everywhere you go, and it's probably the cheapest. By focusing on the function of hello, the basic function, they just knocked off everyone. You also remember Glow came in and under features and provided per second charges. They were nice and successful for a while, but by the time the MTN introduced per second charges, where are they? Nowhere to be found. So these examples, the Chinese came into the market like that also. Large market, people can't afford the handset. So they introduced basic handsets that are available for 1,500, literally. Some of them are even available free when you buy a line. So that helped them to come into the market rapidly and succeed. If they came in with differentiation, they would have found a tough competition and they would have lost. So under this kind of situation is best. Now, if of course you are a medical person and you have a medical facility, then of course this is the time to be different, because you will make money now as a hospital person when you are different. You charge what you like and pretend to give really high quality personal service. So you can see, depending on what business, the nature of the business, and the circumstances of the customer, how this affect the customer. I hope that's clear.
All right, thank you so much, Prof, for your time. Please let me tell the house we have about 10 minutes more. I have 2 questions here that have been typed on the chat, so I'm going to read the 2 of them, even though one is already answered, but I'll still read the 2 of them. One is from Martins Emmanuel. My question goes to Mr. Tayo, who spoke last from the panelist angle. Can he please tell us those things they did differently that helped reposition their organization, rather than telling us reorganization is key? What form of reorganization in this context is he talking about? Can you hear me, Tayo? Tayo?
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, did you hear the question?
Yes, I got your question.
Okay, please, can you just in 1 minute pass your comments?
Okay, one of the key things that we did as an organization was first of all, we actually put down all the measures that we needed to actually operate in that kind of industry, in this era that we actually have. We put down those things, and after putting down those things, we now had to invite the people, that's the organization, to come in and see them for themselves. Then secondly, we had, when in this kind of organization, because we actually had lots of people stopping staffs, telling them not to come, cutting down salaries and all that. But because we could put down those things, those measures, could put down those things for us to be able to operate effectively. So we actually do not need to cut down salaries or cut down any staff from coming to work. And one of these, the key things that we actually needed to do in this kind of hospitality industry was providing the necessary tools. For example, providing the hand sanitizer, checking the customers even before coming into the premises, providing hand gloves, providing nose masks and all that, and cleaning up the whole environment frequently. And when the organizers, when NCDC, when they came in, they could see this thing in place. Okay. And when they were stopping other organizations from operating, we were even operating, because we were actually even facing their office directly. Okay. So these are one of the things that we actually did.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. That is maybe a specific term, putting to operations the protocol by the NCDC and the WHO, which makes it physical for people to see. All right, thank you for that. I have Aliu Shikaji. Are you there? You want to ask a question about e-learning? Are you there, Aliu?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, please go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay, good day, everyone, and thanks to Prof. And a big thanks to the organizers for bringing this together. We hope to see more of this. Prof, my question is, COVID is here, and life is never going to be the same again, I guess, even after COVID. Schools are going on e-learning now. I mean, schools appreciate e-learning now, and another model is already coming up of blended learning. The e-learning and the conventional, classroom, being physical in classroom model. How do you see the blended learning model thrive after post-COVID-19? Thank you, Prof.
Thank you for your question. All right. Yes, sir. Prof.
I think if Ali remembers very well reading from Competing for the Future, published in 1994, those authors gave a graphic example of what e-learning would be. And I vividly remember the example, which everyone has ignored. Most high-ranking universities have ignored it, and in fact have tried to
Hello, Prof.
to influence people that when you do distance learning, and distance learning is not typically recognized. So e-learning is also not typically recognized. This myth has been influenced by people who have spent their life, who have invested their life, invested everything in conventional learning. But here we are today. Something happened that brings back what those professors of strategy, computing in the future, Gary Hamel and C.K. Prahlad, said in 1994 that, hang on, this is the way to go. So now we have a practical situation. So it is then the management of the platform. Things are already bad in Nigeria. You can get any result you want. We've had so many things about sex scandals, professors asking for sex for grades. We've had so many people getting their WAEC result from miracle centers. There are so many issues. So if we add e-learning, when we do it physically, we are facing these issues. We now add e-learning, which is totally out of control. So the thing is, what do we need to learn? How do we get it right? What expertise are required? How do we secure those? Unfortunately, you are seeing my faces. If I ask you if you trust me, you are likely to say yes. But do you trust the system that I belong to? You say no. Because we all have our experiences. So this is something that is new, but at the same time old. So we need to borrow, we need to learn, we need to unlearn, we need to develop rapidly, but more importantly, you need to ask questions about the integrity of the system. How do we control it? If we get that right, then that's the future. There's no doubt about it. That is the future. MIT has been running this program for ages. I don't know why we are not. Thank you. Thank you, Ali.
Thank you so much, Prof. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank every one of you for your time. Thank you for the questions that have been put forward. I hope we have learned a lot of things that we'll put into practice in our businesses and personal lives. Right now, we don't have much time. We have only 3 minutes to go. We need to release Prof so that I can go and rest, and so that we can go on with other activities for the day. Meanwhile, I said, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, can you give a vote of thanks, and so that we can just call it a day from there?
Okay. Okay. Hello, everybody. I want to thank all of us for participating, for coming on board. Thank you very much. And specifically, I want to thank Prof. Prof, thank you very much for sharing your expertise with us. Thank you for agreeing to discuss with us on this platform. We are very, very grateful. And I must say that this section has been very, very insightful. I've learned a lot, and I can say so for other participants. Thank you very much. On behalf of the DBS alumni, we are the ones that organize this program, and we hope to organize more in future. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, everyone. Please, I would like all of us to put on our mic so that we can clap for Prof for taking his time out. At least we have this opportunity. So you can put off your mic and just give a clap. I have a applause to Prof. All right. Thank you so much, Prof. We appreciate your time. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this webinar. I will give 1 minute so that we can interact before I will end the webinar. So, Prof, you can take your leave, sir.
I was just saying that.
Okay, you want to say something, sir?
Whilst I was making the presentation, someone voiced.
Can you hear me, sir?
Whilst I was making the presentation, someone expressed a concern.
Okay.
Someone expressed a concern that I didn't teach them these whilst on the MBA program. So,
oh my God.
I hope I have compensated the person now.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, you did. You are compensating us, sir.
Okay, good.
Thank you so much, sir. Prof, you can take your leave, sir, while the boys and the ladies we interact.
Okay, happy weekend.
So guys, I hope we enjoyed the whole session.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prof.
God's time, I can see you. Lizzie, I can see you.
Yeah.
Monsieur, I can see you. Who else again? Elkie, this one you are just quiet on us. I can see you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I see you.
You came through. Guys.
Why? What happened?
Bye.
No, I can see you.
I can see you guys. So,
thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay.
I put it and hand to all this time. Thank you.
Good one. Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Nice one. Thank you.
Good one. I appreciate it. That's a good one. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Dayo.
Yes.
Thank you so
Look
much.
forward to so many more others.
Yes, we need to expand.
I missed all of you.
Wow, who is talking? Who is talking, please?
Hey, I can see you. Are you on the road? God's time.
Yes, Mawatu.
Are you on the road?
How far?
Good.
Man.
I need to put this.
Thank you so much. We don't want to go.
Oh, we need to go. Agua.
We don't want to. Agua is just coming in. Agua is just joining in.
Okay.
We have the WhatsApp now. Let's join at the WhatsApp.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.